The Jura X10 is a bean to cup machine. That means it uses whole beans. It doesn't use pre-ground, it doesn't use powders, and it doesn't use capsules. This is a big deal, so pay attention. This is where all the difference is made, at least in 3 different areas. First, in quality. Freshly ground coffee per drink, right there and then. Much better than any pre-ground, powder, or capsule you can imagine. 2, freedom. Sometimes people don't want to be bound to some type of a coffee contract. They want to have the freedom to choose their own beans. It'll cost them less. It's easier, whatever it is. As long as you can get whole beans, which you can get anywhere, you're good to go. Number 3, very important, cost. When people start doing number crunching, this is where it gets interesting. A bean to cup machine like this usually costs 1/3 of what a capsule machine will cost per drink. Once you run the numbers, it starts to click in. So who is the Jura X10 really for? You see, the Jura X10 is the commercial model from Jura, and it sits in a sweet spot, you may say. It's not a residential machine. It's, you know, too overpowering, but it's also not a machine you would put in a specialty espresso shop either. It's for places where coffee is made all day long, whether it's an office, whether it's a client-facing business, dealerships, even cafes or bakeries where coffee is not the center of attention. The Jura X10 is meant to be used by multiple types of people with different knowledge of coffee and expertise. It's just really, really easy to press a button and get any type of a drink right from it. What drinks can the Jura X10 actually make? Let me show you. Espresso, lungo, flat white, latte macchiato, coffee, americano, cortado, cappuccino, cafe latte, milk, hot water, and milk foam. Now, all these drinks have their own variations. When you press this button here, you get an option for cold brew or extra shot. Extra shot is when somebody needs an extra kick in their morning coffee. You would press that, and once you press extra shot, you see the drinks that can be made as an extra shot, where the machine will produce 2 espressos for the same drink, are highlighted with an extra bean. Now, if that's not the case and you want a cold brew, and yes, this machine does make cold brew, when you press on this specialty drink and cold brew, all the drinks that can be made as a cold brew also light up. The only thing that really is not being made as a cold brew is the milk foams. Everything else you can have hot, regular brew, or cold brew as well. So how many cups can you get out of the Jura X10 per day? Well, the maximum daily recommended output on the X10 is 100 cups. It's more than enough for most applications it goes into. That's thanks to its really large 5-liter water tank. Right there. It also gets a 500-gram bean hopper. This can be extended to a 1-kilo bean hopper if necessary. And one of the other cool things about it is it doesn't have to be constantly emptied out. You can go up to about 40-50 drinks before the drip tray has to be emptied out. All of these capacity specifications is what makes the X10 suitable for offices and canteens and cafes and places like that. One of the most popular drinks people make with the X10 is a cappuccino. This is how you would go about making it. Cheers. Now, one of the features people don't expect, but they absolutely love it when they know they have it, is the ability for the X10 to make cold brews. Now, there's a particular distinction between cold brew and iced coffee. This doesn't make iced coffee. This is not an iced coffee machine. What it does do is produce espresso at room temperature, meaning for people who like to have iced drinks, iced cappuccinos or whatever it is, when they have that ice in the glass, the espresso doesn't immediately hit the ice and start melting the ice, resulting in a watery tasting drink. Now, this is particularly useful in an office space. Imagine spending all that money on a new espresso machine and then watching people walk out halfway through the day because they feel like having a cold drink. Not with the X10. The cold brew keeps people in the office. Can you customize each drink according to the way you like it on the Jura X10? Yes, but is that a good thing? See, I'll show you exactly how you can customize each drink as to your liking. However, do we want everyone at the office to do that for their own drink? So, one of the reasons we like the X10 is because it gives you the option to lock whatever customization setting on a particular drink, so things don't change all the time and people don't mess around with this. Let me show you. So in order to customize a drink on a Jura, all you have to do is press and hold the button corresponding to that drink, and a menu pops up. Now you could reposition the product. We'll talk about that later, but you can also change the settings of it. Now in this particular case is how strong we want the drink to be, the volume of espresso, the temperature of the drink, the amount of milk that's being produced, the amount of milk foam, whether you want this drink to be made with cold brew or extra shot, like all the time. Once you determine these settings, you can save it. Now, if you leave this option on, anyone who uses the machine can change the parameters of their drink accordingly. If you don't want that, if you don't want people doing all the different customizations for all the different drinks all the time, come into the settings menu on the last page, product settings, you could inactivate. And if you do that, then let me show you here. Pressing and holding the selector button doesn't do anything. We tend to recommend this for this type of a machine. Now, the extra shot feature is one of the things people really like on the Jura X10. Already out of the box, this machine grinds up to 16 grams of coffee, which is pretty strong for most people. However, for people who want that extra kick, the machine is able to produce a drink with a double shot. Let me show you. If you want to get an extra shot for just one drink, a one-time setting, if you may, you just press on this. If the office admin has not deactivated, because you have the choice to deactivate that feature, but if they haven't deactivated it, you just press on that, then you press on extra shot, and then you will see all the drinks that can be made with an extra shot have a little bean right next to them, a coffee bean next to them, and that would be your flat white, latte macchiato, cappuccino. How hard is it to work on the Jura X10? You see, the Jura X10 is supposed to go into a place where there's a lot of coffee being made on a daily basis by a lot of people, some of which may have never worked this machine before. That's the whole point. Working with this machine is probably one of the easiest things you can do. Let me show you. Basically, if you want to make a drink, just press on the button that's next to the drink. That's it. This is not a touch screen, so nothing happens if you touch the screen. But just to go through the detailed version of this, there are 4 selected buttons, so whichever drink you want, just press on the button next to it. There is a navigation button, so this allows you to go through the different drink menus. There's 3 pages. Each page contains 4 drinks. But if you wanted a specialty drink in a way that you prefer, you could have an extra shot or cold brew. You would press that and then choose whichever option you want there. And this is exactly how you would get out of that menu. This is it. It is as easy as it can possibly get. Now, is the Jura X10 easy to maintain? What is involved in the daily maintenance and what has to be done? Well, it's very simple and straightforward. Here's the simple idea. At the end of the day, you want to make sure the water tank is full for the next day, or rinsed if necessary for that day. The drip tray to be emptied out. The wastewater goes here, just throw it in the sink, and the pucks go here. Those are the spent pucks. get rid of those, and that's the drip tray right there. The one most important thing is if the machine has been used to produce milk-based drinks, the milk pipe system has to be cleaned, not rinsed, cleaned. The way you do that is pretty straightforward. The milk pipe goes into this tray that is provided with the machine. This is called a one-step system. You would use these tablets, would go in there. It's a Pez dispenser, so you just do one shot of tablets in there. The machine uses the water from the water tank to dilute or dissolve this into a solution, and then it'll suck up that solution through the water pipe and down through the spouts into here. You don't have to stand around and watch this while it happens, but it's very straightforward. Let me show you. So let's say this is the end of the day. You would see that red little dot. That means cleaning has to be done. Press and hold the navigation, clean the milk system. This is a very self-explanatory thing. It just tells you to use Jura products. Add milk system cleaner. This guy, again, one shot like a Pez dispenser, and you are good to go. You can walk away. But if you wanted to stand around and watch, here's what happens. Can we limit the number of drinks produced by the X10? Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point. That's one of the reasons we like this for commercial applications, is because although it does offer you the full range of specialty drinks, that may not be a good thing for you. The reason is, for instance, there's offices that don't necessarily have anyone cleaning the milk pipe work at the end of the day. Therefore, the firm decides that they don't want to offer any milk-based drinks, only espresso and coffee and Americanos. That's one option, but let me show you how. So currently we have the machine displaying the full range of drinks. Let's say we wanted to eliminate some of these drinks for whatever reason. Press and hold on the navigation button. Pretty straightforward. We come onto the settings, and on the last page of the settings menu, you will see lock enable. If you press on that, you'll see it allows you to lock certain drinks or leave open whatever drinks. This is a very useful feature. What does this button do on the Jura X10, and can I turn it off? This is called the one-off setting button. And when you press that, you will have two different options for the drink that you'd like to make, whether it's a cold brew or an extra shot. If you didn't want that option available, press and hold on the navigation button. The last menu of the settings page will allow you to turn that setting off. Again, this is just to reduce confusion. Multiple types of people working with. The Jura X10 came out in late 2024, roughly. And the reason I say that is because it got a new grinder. Now, why is that important? A lot of people don't think about noise until it's there, and then it becomes a problem. Well, that's one of the reasons we like the X10. It's a rather quiet machine that doesn't tend to bother people, colleagues, customers, or clients. Can you limit the number of drinks on the screen on the X10? Yes, very easy. As a matter of fact, a lot of firms want to do this because they don't want people going through menus of specialty drinks. They pick a few drinks that they know they want to offer, whether milk-based or not or whatever, and put it on one screen. This is just to minimize confusion, just makes it really easy. Let me show you how. So let's say right now we have espresso, longo, flat white, and latte macchiato displayed, and we have multiple pages. Now let's say we're just going to keep it into one page, but how do we reposition? Let's say, well, what if latte macchiato is not a drink you want to display it on the one page that you want to show? Press and hold the button, you get the reposition product option, and then you could reposition that drink with another drink of your choice. Once you do that, you'll then Then you'll have the drinks you want on that page, and you will go on to the settings menu, which is press and hold the navigation, last page, lock enable, and then you can lock all the other drinks. So that means you will only have one page displayed with the drinks that you want displayed on them. What settings can I change on the Jura X10? Well, let me show you the settings menu. In order to get to the settings menu, you press and hold on the navigation button, and that gear icon is your settings. Now you could allow the machine or tell the machine to switch off after a certain amount of time, and this goes all the way up to 9 hours. You could also have the machine either display or not display the product names, which why would you do that unless if it's an office prank? You could tell the machine how hard the water is. This information is used by the machine to determine how often the filters have to be changed or cleaning or descaling. You could determine whether it's milliliters or ounces as far as units are concerned. You could change the language on the machine. I'm pretty sure all the major languages are here, but we just went through them. You could empty the system. This is for if you're sending the machine somewhere, or if the machine is going anywhere cold. For instance, if these machines cannot have water in them and be outside in winter, they will freeze and damage the machine. So that's what that's for. Factory settings, versions obviously tells you what software setting, and this is great to have for any type of a commercial application. These settings allows you to choose what drinks you would like to offer from the menu and unlock or lock those. The one-off setting can be turned off. That's the setting that allows one drink to be made either as a cold brew or an extra shot. You could also have product settings inactive or active, which again, to reduce confusion as to people not messing around with the settings of the products, that would also be a helpful setting to have. Is this machine safe for self-serve? Places where there's nobody to watch over the machine? Yes. With the Jura X10, you get a key that locks the water tank, locks the bean hopper. Even the menu settings can be locked. This could be available to the public who could make a drink just with a press of a button. It means there's no mistakes, there's no unintentional mishaps and oopsies, there's no unnecessary service, and it keeps the machine protected.